Hello everyone, and in this video, let's talk about how to compute the gross and net pay. That includes the computation of the deductions like tax and the contributions that are legally mandated by the laws. Let's differentiate first what is the difference between gross income and net pay. When we say gross income, this is the total earnings before the deductions are applied. So it includes all the allowances, the overtime pay, all the benefits, the commission or the piecework pay that is due to the employee. On the other hand, if we apply the deductions based on the gross income, we will get the net pay. So again, this is called the take home pay, and it is computed by deducting all the deductions from the gross income. So what are the different deductions? It depends upon case to case, but legally, we have the deductions that are mandated by government laws. It includes the SSS or the GSIS contribution. SSS is the Social Security System. It's for the private employees or the employees who are working in private companies or private corporations. On the other hand, if the employee is working in the government or public office, then that employee is with the GSIS contribution. So GSIS is Government Service and Insurance System. So again, SSS is for private employees while GSIS is for public employees. PhilHealth or PHIC contribution, Pag-ibig Fund or HDMF contribution, withholding tax, of course, the income tax mandated by the train law. If the employee has certain absences, it's part of the deduction. If the employee is also contributing to a certain insurance program, then there is a deduction for insurance. Or if there are active loans of the employees, then that's also part of the deduction and other deductions that are similar to this. Let's discuss in depth the SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, and withholding tax in order for us to be informed as to how they are being computed. Let's start with the SSS. So SSS is the Social Security System and it follows the circular number 2024-006. So in order for you to have a clearer copy of this, you may download this online. But basically, what it shows is in its first column, it has the range of compensation. This is the range of the gross income. And what we need is this employee columns. For instance, if the employee is having a monthly gross income of 14,500, so that is between 14,250 and 14,749.99, then the employee should have a contribution of 725 pesos. So again, this is the only column that we will need the total for the employee, and for the employer this will be his guide. As the range of compensation or as the gross monthly income increases, of course the SSS contribution of the employee also increases. So as you can see here, if for example the monthly gross income of the employee is, for example, 25,000. So it falls on this range, 24,750 and 25,249.99. Then the employee will need to contribute 1,250 in SSS. That will be the deduction for the employee. Next, aside from SSS, another deduction is the PhilHealth contribution or the PHIC contribution. So according to the PhilHealth contribution, we are always getting the 5% of the monthly basic salary. So in this case, if the monthly salary is less than or equal to 10,000, there is a standard contribution of 500 pesos. On the other hand, if the monthly salary is between 10,000 and 100,000, then we have to get its 5%. Afterwards, we have to divide that 5% equally between the employer and the employee. And finally, if the employee is earning a gross basic salary for 1 month of 100,000 pesos, then the contribution is 5,000 pesos. Next, we have the Pag-ibig contribution table. According to the Pag-ibig, we are getting the 2% of the monthly compensation of the employee. However, if, for example, the 2% is greater than 200, there's only a maximum contribution of 200 pesos. So, for example, you get the 2% of the salary and the 2%, for example, is 150. So your contribution is 150. Or if the 2% is 80 pesos, so the contribution is 80 pesos. But if the 2% is 350 pesos, then you will not contribute 350. Instead, you will contribute 200. This is the maximum contribution for Pag-ibig members. And finally, for withholding tax is governed by the train law, which was implemented starting year 2023, and it is applied after deducting the SSS, the PhilHealth, and the Pag-ibig contributions. So that's the first step. We have to subtract the SSS, the PhilHealth, and the Pag-ibig contribution before we compute the tax. So the income tax table that you see on the screen is annually computed. It means that if you have the monthly income, you have to multiply it first by 12 in order to get the annual income. So if the annual income is 250,000 and below, therefore there is no tax for that income. If it's between 250 to 400,000, we have to get the excess from the 250,000 and multiply it to 15%. If the annual income is 400,000 until 800,000, there is a standard tax of 22,500. On top of this 22,500, we have to get the excess of 400,000 and then multiply it to 20%. If the annual income is above 800,000 but it does not exceed 2 million pesos, there is a standard tax of 102,500, and we have to get the excess of the salary from 800, multiply it to 25%. If the annual income is above 2 million until 8 million, there's a standard tax of 402,500 plus we get the excess of the income from 2 million and we multiply it to 30%. And finally, if the employee is getting an annual income which is higher than 8 million, there is a standard base tax of 2.2025 million plus 35% of the excess from 8 million pesos. So as we see, as the annual income increases, so does the tax from the income increases. Again, this table is only for income tax. For value added tax or for tax from the savings, tax from the ownership of land or property, we have a different computation. What we'll cover for this video is only for the income tax. All the deductions, all the gross pay, everything about the pay of the employee could be found in his payslip. So what you can see here is a sample payslip. We can find the name, the position, and the company on the upper left corner of the paper, and the period coverage is usually found on the upper right corner. However, it differs from company to company. Placement of these information could be jumbled, but the gross income, the deductions, and the net pay should always be presented in this manner. So for the gross income, it should display all the income of the employee, the basic wage, the overtime pay if there's any, the allowance, the bonus, the piecework pay. So all of the income should be here and we get the total of the income here at the bottom part. As for the deductions, they should also be enumerated here, but the deductions are presented with parentheses. So again, if we see certain amounts that are inside parentheses, it means those are deductions. And the total deductions are found at the bottom in the middle part. Finally, for net pay, we just subtract the gross total income and the total deductions in order to get the net pay here. So in the next slide, we will be having some examples where we need to identify the net pay and we have to prepare the sample payslip. For example, number one, Mia Valdez is a factory worker in J2H Corporation. She earns 1,200 pesos per day, and for the month of June 2025, she worked for 20 days. We have to prepare her payslip for the month of June that shows all the gross income, the legal deductions, and the net pay. So first, we have to always start with the gross income. It's always the first step. You have to identify the total income of the employee. In this case, we have Mia, and the gross monthly income is based on her daily rate. So our daily rate is 1,200 and she worked for 20 days. So we can just multiply 1,200 times 20, so that is 24,000. Based on the problem, Mia does not have any other allowance. She does not work overtime, so that is only the gross monthly income of Mia. We now move to the legal deductions, starting with SSS. You go back to the circular, let's go back to the table, and let's look for the employee's contribution for 24,000 pesos. Looking at the table, we should find the 24,000 between 23,750 and 24,249. Let's go to the second to the last column on the right. So as we can see here, Mia's contribution should be 1,200 pesos. That is her SSS contribution based on this table. Next, we go to PhilHealth contribution. Again, when computing PhilHealth contribution, we multiply 24,000 times the 5%. So it means that the PhilHealth premium contribution is 1,200. But this 1,200 is not only shouldered by the employee. It should be divided equally between the employee and the employer. So we have to divide 1,200 by 2 and the employee's share is only 600 pesos. As for the Pag-ibig contribution, we have to get the 2% of 24,000, which is 480 pesos. But remember what I told you earlier, the Pag-ibig contribution's maximum amount should only be 200 pesos. So now that we know the gross monthly income, the SSS, the PhilHealth, and the Pag-ibig, we have to move to the withholding tax. Again, when computing for the tax, we have to subtract first all the deductions, the SSS, the PhilHealth, and the Pag-ibig before we apply the tax. So let's do that. So for the taxable monthly salary, this is the 24, which is the gross. 1,200 comes from the SSS, this comes from the PhilHealth, and then this one is Pag-ibig. So when we get its answer, the taxable monthly salary of Mia is only 22,000 pesos. This is the basis in computing the tax. Again, tax is computed using the annual salary. So if 22,000 is just the monthly salary, we have to transform this or convert this into her annual salary. So times 12. It means that the annual salary of Mia is 264,000 pesos. Now that we already know the 264,000 as Mia's annual salary, we now go back to the table for the tax. According to this table, Mia's salary falls on the second row, this one. According to this, if the annual salary is above 250 but less than or equal to 400,000 pesos, we need to get the excess of 250 and multiply it to 15%. So let's do that. So 264, we subtract 250 from it. So that is 14,000. After getting this 14,000, we multiply it by 15%. This is 2,100. This 2,100 means that this is the tax of Mia for the entire year. We need only for the month of June, right? So this 2,100, since this is the annual tax, we have to divide it by 12 to get the monthly tax. So the tax of Mia is only 175 pesos for the month of June. And finally, we get the net pay. We have 24,000 minus the SSS minus this 600 from PhilHealth, 200 from Pag-ibig, and 175 from tax, we only get 21,825. It means that even if Mia is entitled for a salary of 24,000, but we need to deduct certain amounts because that is mandated by the law, Mia will only get or will only take home an amount of 21,825. Let's present this in a payslip. Again, we write the name of Mia, her designation or her position, and the name of the company. And then this is the period coverage. So we have to be specific with the starting date and the ending date for that month. So for the gross income, she only has her basic wage of 1,200 times 20, that is 24,000. No other additional income. For the deductions, again, they should be presented inside the parenthesis. Enumerate all the deductions, and then at the end, you get the total deduction. And finally, you subtract that to get the net pay. So 24,000 minus 2,175 is 21,825. For this example number 2, you may want to pause this video for a while and try solving the net income of Jacob Gomez as well as his payslip. After 5 minutes, you can resume playing this video. Since for the month of May 2025, Jacob worked for 40 hours and her hourly wage is 275 per hour. So we have to show that computation. For the gross monthly income, the regular wage is just the multiplication of the 275 and the 40 hours. So that will result to 11,000 pesos. Aside from this, he also worked 10 overtime hours, which is computed using 1.25 hourly rate times 1.25. Take note that when we are talking about OT or overtime, it's always based on the hourly rate or the per hour, the pay per hour. So for the overtime pay, this is the pay for a regular hour. We have to multiply it to 1.25 and multiply it to 10 because Jacob worked for 10 overtime hours. So the overtime pay is 3,437.50. So we add them to get the gross monthly income of 14,437.50. Based on the problem, Jacob does not have any commission or any holiday pay. Just these two subparts, which are the regular wage and the overtime pay. If the monthly income is already computed, we can now go to SSS. Again, let's look at the table and look for 14,437.50. 14,437 is between 14,250 and 14,749.99. So looking at the total contribution, Jacob should contribute 725 pesos. Based on the table, his contribution should be 725 pesos. Next, for PhilHealth, how do we solve for PhilHealth? We get the 5% of the monthly income. So the 5% of 14,437.50 is 721.88. But again, when we say PhilHealth, it's equally divided between the employee and the employer. So we have to divide it by 2. And his contribution should be 360.94. Next, for Pag-ibig, we get the 2% of the 14,000, but it is higher than 200, so we just apply the maximum contribution, which is 200 pesos. Now that we already know the gross income, the SSS, the PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig, we can now proceed with the computation of his tax. Again, we have to know the taxable monthly salary, which is 14,000 minus the previous deductions. 725 came from SSS. This 360 comes from the PhilHealth and 200 comes from Pag-ibig. So the taxable monthly salary is just 13,151.56. Next, since this is just monthly, we have to transform or convert this into annual by multiplying it by 12. So the annual salary of Jacob is only 157,818.72. Let's use the table from the train law to identify his tax. Based on this table, if the annual salary is below 250,000, there is no tax. So Jacob will not have any withholding tax for the month of May. All right, no tax will be applied. So we can now skip that part and let's go to the net earnings. So for the net earnings, we'll just deduct the SSS, the Pag-ibig, and the PhilHealth, which will result to 13,151.56. So that is the net income of Jacob for the month of May. And applying all these information in the template of the payslip, we have, so this is the starting part of Jacob's payslip. So we put the name, the position, and the company where he works. And this is the period covered from May 1 to 31, 2025. We enumerate the gross income here. So the basic wage is 11,000. We also include the computation for the overtime. So this is how we are going to present the components of the gross income. And of course, the total at the bottom. For the deductions, again, we have to write them inside the parentheses. So we have SSS, PhilHealth and Pag-ibig contributions, and the total deductions here below. Finally, for the net pay, we just show the net income, which is 13,151.56. You have to be familiar on the step-by-step process on how to compute the gross income, how to identify correctly the deductions, and of course, the net pay of a certain employee based on the gross the income and of course, the deductions. After knowing all those information, you have to present them correctly and in an organized manner in a payslip.